Greetings, Earthlings. Welcome back to my channel, the Only Lauren channel. I am the Lauren that is a genius-esque. And today we're going to be talking about the ancient lands of old and pretty much forgotten about lands and undiscovered to the modern world lands. And really the significance of it all. What does it mean? So one of the first places I want to talk about is this place called Amorica, not America, Amorica. It is not the same origin of as America. It is one of the ancient settlements of the Britons of Brittany, back when Britain was still Brittany, or Brittany of Brittany, pre-British era of Britain. It was part of this region of the Atlantic called Gaul, well, at least where Gaul, Sienne, and Lior used to be. The etymology of the place Amorica means a place by the sea. This is obviously inspired by the Moorish as well, who were the Maori who took over that land of the time. The Maoris of Al-Andalus. The source, Wikipedia, says it's simply the older name of a region called, or an ancient land called, Aquitania. And this all has to do with water-based areas. One thing to note about Amorica is that they won't show you the full map of Amorica, but it looks like it's in the middle of what we now know as modern day France, also known as the Mediterranean. Mediterranean, middle terrain, make it rain, middle terrain. Okay. Unnecessary. Okay, the next place we are going to be talking about is the ancient Ethiopia, which was a place, Ethiopia, in connection with the lost city of Atlantis. Now they are not sure where Atlantis is or where it was, but if I'm thinking they're thinking that there were settlements of Atlantis, and that's why there's so many different places called Atlantis and that were associated with sea-bearing peoples with ancient technologies, even in ancient Egypt. What's that place called? Not Alexandria, maybe Alexandria, which has the same latitude as Texas. Houston, Texas. That's crazy. It's crazy. According to Homer's Iliad, the Ethiopian land was originally Atlantis, way before Egypt was even a land. So I even saw this on the documentary. This came up like after I wrote this, but apparently Homer wrote this 9,000 years after what is supposed to be the ancient land of Atlantis, and so he was basically compiling manuscripts of this land that no one really knows like who or what it is. But Ethiopia was like one giant land next to water that doesn't even look familiar to our landscape today. It does, but it doesn't, is what I mean. And this land is also known as ancient Libya, next to modern day Libya. But I don't really want to confuse you guys, but I will say go look at my ancient my Africa video, where I basically say that ether is a derivative of Africa. I mean, that's actually in the history books, but Epher in connection with Noah, and so on and so forth. The ether, airs, dark space. So it's also said that the Aztecs came from Atlantis to the seafaring people. It was their ancient land. So this is really where it gets crazy, because it's like, oh, you know, wait, that was the Mayans. Anyways, like, where did the Mayans go? But the Aztecs came from Aztlan, who were said to be of Atlantis. So that's crazy, right? Like, oh my god. And what I had heard was that the I think I heard this from a hierophant, that the place, the Americas that we know today, were not part of the Great Flood, that the Native American people managed to survive the Great Flood somehow. So we are not sure exactly how, but this is like super intriguing. Like, how did they? And it seems likely. I don't know how I feel like that. I'm just intuiting it. It just feels like it might have seemed impossible. Just think about how the Americas is off, far from everything else. You have your own giant landmass. I don't know. It seems possible. So we should investigate that. There's also this place called Aquitania. Oh, not Aquitania. It's Novem Populana, which was known before then as Aquitania Terra or Terria. In the area now known as France, this is obviously pre-Europe, so go check that out. And there is one more land I want to talk about of the pre-times, and this land is the land of Magenta. Now this may not sound significant in any way, but when you go look at the land, when you try to go look at the etymology of magenta, you can't necessarily find the etymology besides Lombardy. Now this makes me think of magnetism, which things are drawn to, and magic, and divining. And vines are the color of the grapes. Grapes are magenta. So what is the significance of this? I think we should look into more of these ancient lands of old and investigate them and find out like who, what, when, where, and how, and what should we be doing. Anyway, I think I'm about to run out of time, or not run out of time, but run out of power. So like and subscribe and share my video and buy my book Quintessence on Amazon. Goodbye, Earthlings.